Welcome to the Offsite Dirt Network channel. We are lucky enough to connect in Australia with Simon Waldron. He is an integrator with Eden Valley Consulting and a consultant for Apex Wiring Solutions. Welcome.
Thank you, Audrey. You're really great to be here with you. Thank you so much.
I'm
And
so
yes,
happy. I'm so happy
from this
you're
corner of
here.
the world. Yeah, from down under.
Absolutely.
Even though I'm originally from England or from the UK, this is where I am. Yeah, far corner.
You've hit coast to coast almost. That's awesome.
That's
So
right.
it's so great because you and I kind of connected on LinkedIn, which everybody knows is such an amazing platform for bringing our community together. And we're talking all about wiring. I would love for you to give us a little bit of an understanding about Eden Valley. And then I would love for you to walk into your analogy that we were just speaking about so people can really
Mm.
understand this full integration.
Yeah, okay. So from the Eden Valley perspective, we have found ourselves being drawn into a world where there's a lot of great things happening in the building world for what we term as modern methods of construction in this corner of the world. I know it's got different names in different places. And the draw for us has been around helping to integrate the electrical systems and modular wiring in particular into the MMC world. So that means a lot more modular builders and prefab companies. But even when you're looking at sort of in situ build on site, where they're bringing systems or elements onto the into the project from an offsite perspective. So there's a definite awakening and space there. So that's what Eden Valley does in terms of the integration piece there. And the Apex Wiring Solutions modular wiring is a product and system or products and systems that is plug and play or pre-manufactured wiring. It's what I was saying to you before. It's the electrical system of a building is much like my wife's a chiropractor, and we liken it to the central nervous system of the body in the building. So when we first met many years ago, we sort of went, oh yeah, we see what you look after the electrical signals of the body, and we help to design and build and integrate the electrical systems of buildings. And I think without that backbone or the spine and the central nervous system, none of the things that we want in the building really work. So electrical is really important. It just gets often forgotten about because it's behind the walls or it's in the core of the building, or above the ceiling or in the floors, and we don't see the cabling. So that's where we can kind of come into to help because modular wiring is an advanced stage of traditional or normal cabling. So we help integrate that part of it.
What has been the biggest mindset change for you when you talk to clients? I mean, a lot of people that are in the MMC world, they understand about integration, they understand about standardization. Has there been a big shift to like moving into a system with this whole approach from your side of the pond?
The word, yeah, the integration word you use there is the sort of key word in this whole conversation, and it's very much a mindset because we've made the construction industry into almost a catalog. And in some ways, yes, that's good because you've got this awareness of options. You've got options out there, which is, I agree, is fantastic. It's then knowing how to use them and then when to use them is the other part of it. So the mindset is, okay, rather than leaving it to later stages and deciding off a list, well, let's use this, and this. It's can the function of that building change or the way that we build it and design it change or benefit from early integration of the system and then not just looking at bits and parts and things from a catalog. So it is a really big shift. It's not just in the electrical industry, it's as an industry wide, as I'm sure you've seen or know from your work that you do. We've become very good at making things into catalogs and lists. Now we need to, I think, sort of turn back the clock a little bit or take the catalog into a systemized thinking, and make it work from the beginning because they've got used to leaving things to later and later and later. And I mentioned regularly about things being reactive. Um, it's done later when if we designed it earlier, we could have done something different or better. And that's probably a generic thing, not just always about electrical. But that's one of the biggest things within the electrical industry. Like most things in construction, they don't like to change just because. They like to know why. And I think that's the other thing is if you get engagement from people who really want to be on the journey of evolving, then that's a good thing, and that is changing. So there is light at the end of the tunnel there, and we are seeing some change.
So, Simon, does your team come in at the very early stages of the design plans and then talk about the integration of what type of digital solutions that you guys will be able to put into that wiring? Because I'm guessing it's not just lighting, right?
Yeah, so it's power and lighting, so or small power and lighting as it's called. So everything that you can plug an appliance into, so the power feed or the backbone for that part of it. So if it was a house, it would be pretty much everything in the house that you can plug in electrically or switch on for lighting. When you get to sort of commercial, it's in a sort of range that you do. You don't do sort of the larger plant and machinery, it doesn't get done. But if it's stuff that you can plug in and switch on, then normally that's what we're talking about. And ideally, yes, coming in at the early stage at the very beginning, which again, the industry as a whole don't do that very well. So when people do it, it's great. It's great. It's a big sigh of relief. We can come in and help. Just even giving people an option again, an awareness of what can be done or how they can do it. And so coming in early is what we always ask is bring us in at the beginning, even if it's for a conversation, giving you some options of what you can do, and then it can be passed down the line. But yes, in answer to your question, yes, it is ideal to do that. What tends to happen is we get brought in later, and we've formatted or formulated a process to work around that, but it's really a workaround. You're working around things rather than the ideal situation is we all get around a table and you bring as many people in as you can and have a real awareness of what is what's on the table. I suppose really you put everything out there. That's the ideal scenario, and MMC is becoming like that.
I agree with you. And in the current clients that you're already working with and consulting with, what are you seeing as the benefits to being able to have the system or the installation simplified? What are you seeing for the benefits for the clients, or what are you hearing on your side?
So a lot of the people that we're working with in recent years or in recent times are the modular builders. So it's the ones who have got factory built, either panelized or volumetric products that they're doing. And typically they are residential or school buildings, some small sort of medical or even healthcare facilities. And because they can do more in the factory physically, that's a good thing for them. They can complete more. They can because it has a knock-on effect. If they can have an electrical system installed in the building and they can close up walls or they can finish a part more than they would normally able to, then again they're moving their whole well, I guess their whole product and service forwards. So that's the physical side of it. That's the benefit there. The other part is when we go look at the beginning of the design, again, they can design that building to understand exactly where all the cables need to go, even all the other services, where the waste pipes are going to go, where your water pipes are going to go, because often that on a conventional um, process, that doesn't happen until you get to site or the integration doesn't happen. So being able to do it at the really beginning, the design stage with a digital system, with digital twins, with BIM, with all of the modeling being able to do, you can look at how, and there's a relationship between that steel frame or the timber frame and where the cable needs to pass through, or how the joints, the connections, and being able to it doesn't mean it answers questions. Often it throws up more challenges, but you are facing the challenges in a design stage or in a factory where you can workshop them or you can try and resolve or solve those problems.
So it sounds like for me, the ideal scenario is if you can work with manufacturers or factories on that level and create a system with them, usually, using BIM or CAD or any of those solutions where you can see it digitally. In the end, if they have a solution and they have a partner like yours, then that allows them to be more efficient. It allows the system to be more quickly installed. And at the end, you're hitting higher productivity. My question
Yes.
to you is, I know that you create these systems. Do you also create the electrical panel in which all of these systems plug into? Is that a part, or is that separate for the electrician come in and then they're connecting all these wires into that panel system?
So there is there's a requirement that it's still we still sit underneath the in Australia and New Zealand, which share the same code. We
Okay.
still sit underneath the electrical standard, which is governed by the electrical authority, which is means you need the electrical installer or contractor to do that work. And that's we advocate that 100%. Now, what it means is that there are certain elements that can be done in a factory under supervision. There are certain elements that can be done in a factory which are because it's a system. And we always advocate or recommend that if you know an electrical contractor or an installer, you engage them, bring them to the factory, show them what you're doing, ask them for their input, and so that they're not getting a volumetric building land on site and they go, well, what is this? They so it is key that they are involved and engaged in the process. So that round table at the very beginning really should have them on there as well. Have the electrician, the plumber, the HVAC people, and all of the people that need to be there, depending on what stage. They might not be till they get to site, but it's important that they understand what's happening with that before they get it. So yes, we do work with them. We work with the panel builders, so we interface with them. So they're taking something and I guess adding value or making it pluggable and ready to install. And then it's key that the electrical contractors or installers are part of that. Effectively, they're sort of like the team, if you like. Because they can say you can get to site, and I've seen it before where they'll say no, don't like it. I mean, we get in Australia, there's building products that are sent from overseas, and they're within their rights just to say no, we don't. We'll have to rewire the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's a crazy scenario, which I'm sure happens way too many times. But I'm certainly happy that we've got someone like your team in order to help simplify that system and make it less
Yeah.
confusing and more integrate friendly, I guess you would say.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I just love that you and I have connected and that we had the opportunity to talk. And exactly what's going on in Australia, New Zealand, and those areas is exactly what's happening in the US. The differences are that we're all just trying to figure this out and simplify systems and making
Yes.
integration and modular and modern methods of construction that much more adaptable. So thank you
Yes.
so much for being here.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Audrey. Yeah. Really a pleasure to be here. Great
And
work.
that's and
Great
that's
doing.
the dirt on Offsite Dirt. Check out your electrical and check out Eden Valley Consulting and Apex Wiring Solutions. Have a great day.